Hi, I'm Jenny from Jenny Wren's Nest, and this is the This Ain't a Scene sweater. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to pick up the stitches for the collar on this pattern. So the beginning of picking up the collar is at the back of the sweater. So with the right side facing you, so that's the knit stitches in your stocking net, so not where you can see the purl stitches, and the back of the sweater. So you can see the difference. If you line up the shoulder seams, the front collar hangs lower. So if you turn it round, you've got the back of the neckline. And the back stitches, you are picking up the same number as you cast on for the back piece. So if you have used your stitch markers, which in the pattern I tell you to cast on 39 in my size, for example, and then you'll be casting on extra stitches to build up the shoulder. Before you cast on those extra stitches, there is a stitch marker placement instruction. If you leave that stitch marker placed in the work, then it's easy to spot where you are picking up your stitches from and to. So here we're going from the join to the join. And because we're working on the right side, we're going from right to left. And you can just find the stitches that you've cast on. And you're going to pick those up, one stitch for every stitch that you cast on, but you're using a smaller needle. So your first stitch, you can find it by finding the V of your stitch. So here we've got a V, here we've got a V, just follow it up. I'm not going to do the very top one, I'm going to do the row below. So here, I just find it gives you a bit more structure to your collar. So in the same way as you did when you picked up the sleeves, you're going to get your strand of contrast colour, if you're using a contrast. You're just going to slip that over, so you've just wrapped it round, and you are going to hold it taut, pull that through so it looks like you've got a stitch. Now again, if you pull on the longer side of the yarn, it will undo the stitch. So if you just tuck the shorter tail over before you start picking up any more stitches, and then you can begin picking up as you go. So for me, I cast on 39 stitches at the back, so that's how many I'm going to pick up. So needle in, wrap it round, pull it through. That one looks a bit chunkier just because of the shape of the yarn, but it's not. So needle in, wrap it round, pull it through. And you're just going to do this all the way across until you've got all of your back stitches. So now we've picked up the stitches for the back of the collar. We're going to turn our work and we're going to work down the side. So we've now got two sides to work and the front. So you're going to do the left hand side of the neck, the front of the neck, and the right hand side of the neck. And picking up the stitches for the rows is pretty much the same as when you pick them up for the I-cord edging for the sleeves, and it's exactly the same as you have been picking up the stitches for the back of the collar. You just find the row and the stitch that you want to insert your needle into, put your needle in, wrap your yarn like you're knitting, and pull it through. So you're going to do that all the way down the side of your collar, and then you're going to do exactly the same along the front of your collar and up the other side, and eventually you'll get back to the beginning of your round and you should have an even number of stitches. Now once you've picked up all of the stitches around your collar, you can place your stitch marker, and the next step, apart from obviously checking that you've got the right number of stitches, is to just knit round. So you're not going to start the ribbing immediately. You're going to be knitting around for that first round even. So you're just knitting the stitches the same as you would if you'd cast them on in any other way. And then once you get back to the beginning of this round, that's when you're going to start your 1x1 ribbing. And we've finished the first round, so that's just pure knit. The next round that we're going to do, and then all the subsequent rounds until you have finished the collar, are going to be knit 1, purl 1, so 1x1 ribbing. So for your first stitch, you're just going to knit that first stitch, and then the next stitch, you're going to purl. And you just kind of carry on the whole way around. Knit one, purl one, knit one, purl one, until you finish that first round. And the pattern calls for an additional 6 rounds after this, so a total of 7 rounds. If you wanted to do a folded collar, you could just keep going and then fold it over when you feel like you've got enough. That would work too. A couple of my testers did a twisted rib. That looked really nice. It's totally open to interpretation, but for the pattern itself, it specifies 1 by 1 rib. But have fun with it and make the collar work the way you want it to.